Hello, hello. It's me. It's John. This is episode 4 of the poker vlog, and officially episode 2 of my bankroll challenge. The first kind of 2 episodes, I just said I was trying this out, but now I'm actually gonna keep track of the numbers and kind of keep you guys in the loop of where I'm at and how I'm doing. So we started out with 1,500. We won $15 last episode, so now we are at 1,550. Won 1,515, which I like. I think that's a cool number. I think that's a good number, and I'm feeling good about this session going in to it. It is Friday, November 7th. Just got off work at the Hollywood Casino, and yeah, again, I just want to play aggressive. I want to not make any stupid moves. And I also want to work on filming a bit because I get really nervous pulling my phone out in public. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to get over that fear. No one really cares that I have my phone out. As long as I'm respectful and let people know and don't be a dick, I feel like it's fine. So those are the things I'm working on. Let's get out there. Let's book another win for episode number 4. Peace. USA, baby. USA. I'm happy to announce that this should be the last time that I use this format fully. I'm very excited. I think I'm going to start filming in the casino that I play at next video, which will hopefully give my videos some more authentic vibe, like a more relaxing, the poker vlog feel, and it won't just be kind of this linear, here's the opening, here's the outro, here's my hand analysis. I feel like that might get kind of boring, and you just don't have much to look at other than the card movement and stuff like that. So I'm gonna hopefully get some nice hand footage next video, but for this one we will stick with old reliable, the the old duck table. Here she is in its glory. Take one last good look because she won't be around forever. Okay, first hand of the session, and we sit down on the button with ace queen offsuit. It starts off with an under the gun raise, who raises to 12, and we decide to just call. I don't hate this just call. I know some people are going to say you could 3-bet this, but I was pretty new to the table, and the under the guns range should be pretty tight. He is first to act, and we should kind of always respect his range. Maybe if I knew a little bit more about the guy, how often he's raising, what kind of hands he's raising with, then we can evaluate there. But I think from a complete equilibrium standpoint, that you should just be, this is just a fine call. So we go to a flop, which comes 7 of hearts, 3 of spades, and king of diamonds, so we get absolutely nothing. But he starts off with a check, and in position, I don't think there's any real merit to betting here. So we just check it back, protect our check back range. And then the turn is the queen of diamonds. And when he bets out 10 here, we have second pair. I think this is a fine call. I think he would have bet a king on the flop. So I think, again, no real merit to raising just yet, because we want to keep his bluffs in, and we could just be dominating him with a better queen, which I guess in that case we would raise, but here I did not choose to raise, and we just call the $10 bet and go to a river, which is the 10 of spades. And when he bets 15, I think about it, and I think, okay, he shouldn't have just a naked king. He shouldn't have any queen 10s, any king queens, he could have pocket 10s, pocket queens, pocket kings, but unlikely that they would also check the flop. Maybe pocket tens checks the flop. I don't think kings or queens does. But other than that, he's got a lot of stuff that I think we could beat with a raise, like ace 10, ace queen, queen jack, maybe some lower pocket pairs, but I don't think they play it this way. Maybe this isn't a good raise, actually, just talking it through. But I decided to raise to 65, thinking I could represent a straight, or maybe a high 2 pair, because he had the betting lead on the flop. He does call, and he has a set of sevens, which I did not put him on at all. But 45, we'll just say 135. I don't know if that's perfect math, but yeah. Let me know what you think about this one. I think this is an interesting spot. I don't hate my raise here. I think we could have just called and seen a cheaper showdown. I don't hate just calling. I might have to take this one to the solver and study it a little bit more. I'm definitely a little bit curious. Definitely, if people let me know what you think about this one. Maybe not the best raise now that I'm looking at it, but he could have missed diamonds. We have the ace of diamonds, which changes things. Ace 10. He could have checked a king on the flop. I highly doubt it, and I guess I do block the best hand that he could have. That would fold to a raise with ace queen. Yeah, let me know. I'm curious about this one. It's cool to go over this in real time. I'm having a lot of new thoughts come in just as I'm going through it. Sorry, before we go into the next hand, I'm still just fascinated by that last hand. It really shows how much, like, when you really start to think about the hands you play, how different they are than how you originally perceived them. In real time, I was like, oh, there's 3 cards Broadway. I'm gonna raise and maybe represent a strong 2 pair and a strong, or maybe a straight. But in reality, what is folding to that raise? There's nothing. Ace jack gets there. He shouldn't have ace queen, but ace queen might call. King queen, ace king wouldn't check the flop. Maybe ace 10, but the ace 10 wouldn't bet the turn probably. Like, I only beat absolute nothingness. And in my head, I was like, oh, that was a good bluff that just didn't get through because he had pocket sevens. But in reality, I think I lose to just about every hand he could have had. And every hand that I was beating, I just fold out. So it was a really bad raise, I think, now that I'm thinking about it more, unless I'm completely missing something. Again, please let me know, but I love it. I love the intricacy and how different thought processes are when you're in the game versus outside of it, analyzing it. And all the different, it's just beautiful game. Poker's a beautiful game. Sorry, I gotta digress. All right, sweet. Moving on. This hand is a bit of a nothing burger, to be honest, but I mean, I have pocket queens, so I added it to the list. I can't just leave out pocket queens, and I don't have that many hands to begin with for this video, but yeah, I start off under the gun, and I raise 15, and there are 4 callers. I don't think I'm going to change my standard opening size from 15. Sometimes I've been betting 10, actually, from under the gun, and I don't even hate that. I usually only bet 20 if I'm in the small blind or if there's a straddle, and if there's a straddle on a few callers, I'll raise to 25. Other than that, I'm pretty much doing 10 from early position, 15 from late position, so actually this might be too big of a raise. But I digress. 4 callers, and we go to a flop of the king of hearts, jack of spades, and 4 of clubs, so an overcard to our pair, which sucks. And in a 5-way pot, I'm pretty sure I could bet out here, but I really think that's just burning money. I think just a check is fine here, and it checks around. And then the 8 of diamonds comes on the turn. That doesn't really change anything. A few more draws. Pocket 8s, jack 8, king 8. But, I mean, people are playing that garbage. I can't even disclude that. And bet checks to me. I bet 20. One guy calls. And then the small blind raises to 75. So Either he thought we were both full of it, or he had a really good hand. Either way, don't think we can call with pocket queens. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when a guy raises against 2 players at a 1-3 table, it usually means he's got something. And I heard some advice once that says if you get raised on the turn and you only have 1 pair, even if it's top pair, it is never good. Usually is the key word, but I'm pretty sure 1 pair is almost never good when you get raised on the turn. Keep that advice in your back pocket. Hand number 3, we've got ace queen off, and there are 3 limpers ahead of us. So like I said before, with a couple of limpers, I'm going to raise it up to 20 in the button with ace king offsuit, diamond and a spade, and I get 1 caller in the low jack. So we head to like a $50 pot with all the limpers involved, and the flop comes ace of clubs, which is lovely, 2 of spades, and 3 of hearts. A little bit of not a terrifying board, but not the cleanest ace high board that we could ask for. But I mean, hitting an ace is a miracle in itself with ace king, so we can't be complaining. He checks out, and I bet 15. This is a little bit lower than 1/3, so I actually think I should have gone a little bit bigger here, maybe 20 or 25. But he does call, so that brings us to $80. And yeah, I definitely think I should have gone a little bit bigger. I probably wasn't accounting for the limpers in real time, and I probably thought the pot was around 40, considering I raised to 20 and there was 1 caller. So that might be why I raised to 15 instead of 20 or 25. But I mean, $5. It matters in the long term, but I think it's just something to note on and maybe improve upon. I know from my first couple videos, I said paying attention to the size of the pot was a big goal of mine. So yeah, it's always good to point it out when I could have been playing better. On the turn to 2 of clubs, which I think is actually a good card for me because A, it doesn't complete any straight, it doesn't make any straight scarier. I think we're definitely going to bet again. So if he has a full house, like 3s or a 2, he'll raise instead of just calling again. So that'll kind of give us a hint to where we're at. And also, I think it decreases the chance of him having a hand like ace 2. And if he has ace 3, that sucks. But I mean, that's very unlikely. That's like 3 combos a hand, 2 combos a hand. So I'm not too worried about that. So I think I'm feeling pretty good about this turn. But he actually leads out for 35. He donks for 35. And that confuses me for sure. That confuses me. I'm not sure what a hand would lead out with for 35. Except a really strong hand. But I think a really strong hand would check raise. Like a full house or quads or trips even. I don't think any of those hands would donk because if I don't have an ace, they're just never getting paid. So that's my thought process. So why not just let me either continue bluffing or get value from my ace with a check raise? So that confused me a bit. That made me think, that led me to believe that he may be on a draw and he's just trying to get to a river cheaply, but it's not that cheap of a bet in relative size to the pot. It's pretty much half pot. So he could have gone like 20 or 25, which would be very standard for these stakes, and a lot's like $10. So, but either way, I don't think I'm gonna raise on this turn, just because I'm either way ahead or way behind. So I just call, and then the river is a king of diamonds. So I guess it doesn't change too much in the grand scheme of things, except make him more scared. So maybe it's not the greatest card, but I mean, it made me feel good in the moment, and that's all that really matters. And he bets 25 again. So, I mean, there's just no way I'm folding this. I'm very perplexed by his bet size. 1/6 pot on the river. Don't really know what would do this. If he's doing this with a made hand, God bless him. Enjoy making the minimum. If he's doing this with a bluff, God bless him. I'm never folding. So, we call, and he shows pocket 4s. So it was, I suppose, a draw on the turn. So he led out with a draw with maybe a bit of showdown value, which means just check. but and then the river bet I'm very confused on. I don't know what 4s are doing on that river, but hey, we take the money. Cool hand number 3 on the fold. This was my first hand on the second table that I mentioned. Down around $100 at this point. Had that big bluff that not big bluff, but I had that bluff that didn't go through, that queen's hand, and then I think just 1 or 2 more hands where I called or raised, maybe did a big continuation bet or called 1 more hand, and then just had to fold or didn't have anything worthwhile calling. But that other table was very aggressive, definitely some tight regs, so I was happy to get out of there and get moved to this table, which where people were drinking, laughing, having fun, just a better environment. And I think when I'm playing against people who I perceive as not super serious or not super good, it just gives me more confidence. Whether or not confidence means correct play, that is a tale for another time. But I think aggression is good just in the long run of things. So, which you'll see in this hand. Sometimes it can bite you in the butt, but I think most times people will just telegraph their hand strength, and you can be aggressive up until they fight back. Because once they fight back, you know they have something. That's a pretty good philosophy, I'd say. I might trademark that. Nonetheless, King 8 of spades on the cutoff. Pretty bottom of our range, but I think it is definitely an open. So we raise to 15 and get called by 3 players. Small blind and big blind calling. Their ranges can be literally anything suited, literally. The button call a little bit better, probably at least 1 Broadway card, maybe suited, maybe a pocket pair, but could be a whole lot of trash as well. But $60 pot right at the flop, that's a big deal. So the flop comes ace of clubs, queen of hearts, 8 of hearts. So we got bottom pair, nothing too special. Small blind, big blind check, and they shouldn't have a whole lot of aces here. Might have some flush draws, might have some queens, but we go ahead and test the waters. I know I just said shouldn't always bet multi-way, but sometimes, like I said, confidence. So I bet 20, and only the button and the big blind call. The small blind gets out of the way. Big pot shaping up, and the turn is the 4 of spades. And when the big blind checks again, I'm thinking, kind of repping an ace right now. I gotta make the flush draws pay. Definitely could be someone on hearts. I could definitely get some queens to fold. And I could definitely get some weaker aces to fold. So I decide to bet $75. That's a big bet for me. Definitely wasn't easy putting that in, but I did it, and they both fold. So that always feels good to run the flop bet, turn bet, and get everyone to fold when you think you might be beat, which I'm guessing at least someone had a better hand than a pair of 8s. Could be wrong. Could have both been on a draw of some sort. Jack 10, hearts, 9s. I guess 9 beats me, but yeah. Feels good to win this one and bring in a little pot and win my first actual hand on a new table. It feels good to have chips. It feels just good when you sit down and you have like $300 worth of chips behind. If you lose losing your first pot or winning your first couple pots, it just like changes your energy, changes your vibe. Because if you're sitting there like with like 220 or 240, you just don't feel nearly as good if when you're sitting there with like 320 or 340, even though it doesn't matter at all in the grand scheme of things. It's just like a vibes thing, and it always feels good to, like, I'm a war when it comes to counting my money. I know you shouldn't count your chips until the dealing's done, until you stand up and you're out of there. But I'm a freak right now with my bankroll, and I'm just constantly counting how much I'm up or down. Like every time I'm not doing anything, I'm just like counting you'll see me counting my chips. It's not good. I need to bite that habit in the butt, to be honest, because you can't be worried about the money. All right, big pot alert. The hand before this, there was a guy next to me, and he had pocket queens, and he won a big hand, and I pick up pocket queens in the next hand. So I was feeling good. I had to replicate his success. Had some pressure on me. There was an early position raise to 10, and the hijack player calls, and I'm in the wake up in the small blind, pocket ladies. Can't just call this. That would be a major blunder. So we raise it up to 40, which I think is a good size. Could have honestly maybe go a little bit bigger, like 45, considering there were 2 callers, 50. But 50 might get some people to fold, and I don't want that. So I think 40, 45 is a good size. We bet 40, and they both call. So already this is a steamer pot, 120 before we even see the flop. And the flop is pretty beautiful. It's the 7 of hearts, the jack of hearts, and the 3 of spades. So we're kind of pumping our fists. Obviously 2 hearts is a little scary, but we are going to try and get a lot of money if anyone's got a jack. We are first to act, which kind of stinks. And sometimes in the rebets pots, honestly, checking is the way to go. I believe that's, shout out Mark Goon, Hungry Horse. He taught me that. This may actually be played as a check, but against 2 players, I bet out for half pot. I'm always a little nervous when there's a lot of money in the pot, and I've already donated a lot of money, so I bet 60. And the early position player folded, and the middle position player didn't have that much left behind. I think he had like 100, 120 left behind total. And he just shoves. So obviously dream spot for us, a little scary if he has hearts, but we call. And the turn is the 9 of hearts, which doesn't make us feel good, and the river is a king of diamonds, which makes us feel worse. But he flips over ace jack. So he just has a pair of jacks, and we scoop, like, I think it was like a $400 pot, honestly. I think we won like 200 from this hand. We were sitting pretty. That number is not exact, honestly. I didn't note it down in the moment, but I think I was up to like 500 at this point. So yeah, $400 pot sounds about right. Yeah, so it felt good to get this through. Not a lot of skill involved here, just kind of luck. But we take those. We never complain. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last hand of the night. And if you thought the last one was big, strap on your seatbelts, because this hand right here was the biggest pot, the coolest pot, the scariest pot, the most exhilarating, terrifying, and beautiful pot I've ever played in live poker. It is 5 ways. There was a early position raise and 3 callers before me. I make it 5 players calling in the big blind with jack 8 of diamonds. This is a pretty reasonable call. I'm never going to be doing any raising out of position with a beautiful hand like jack 8 of diamonds. Might be my new favorite hand after this one. But the flop comes the 9 of spades, the 10 of spades, and wait for it, the 7 of clubs. So what do we flop? We flop the gosh darn nuts. We flop the best hand imaginable. Yeah, it's a scary board. We don't care. So the pot is $50. And you know, we already thought it can't get much better than this. But the cutoff, or the low jack player, open jams. Now, granted, he only has like 65 left in his stack, so it's like a bit of an overbet jam. But he jams nonetheless. So we're thinking, good golly, Miss Molly probably has a flush draw of some kind. Probably doesn't have an overpair. Maybe is a 10. Either way, we don't care who we even beat. But then my boy, guy I've been shopping with all night, cool guy, said he came to the poker tables because he was in a fight with his wife, and this was his first time, and he just said, I don't want to fight. I'm going to go to the casino and play some poker, which might be the coolest thing I've ever heard. He calls in the small blind. 65. So now I'm sitting there with like $500 in my stack. The guy to my right, the small blind player, this guy's all in, the low jack. The guy, the small blind, just called for 65. So it's a $180 pot. I've got a little more than 400 left. Or I've got around 500 left. I mean, I could just call. But I kind of just heated the moment, and I don't think this is an incorrect play. I just jammed right over the top of this guy for 500 total. Makes it like he has to call like 400 to win 1100, so pretty good odds for him. And he calls, which is pretty darn crazy. We're in like a $1,200 pot at this point. And my blood is pumping. I'm assuming someone... Oh, we started talking to each other. The low jack player who open shoved, he doesn't tell us what we have. But I turned to my guy on my right, who I assume has a very strong hand. He just called my jam without thinking about it too much. And I go, what do you have, man? And he just smiles and he goes, I got nothing. And he had a pair of nines. He had a pair of nines and I think it was like 9-6 of clubs. So I genuinely have no idea what he was doing. He said he wanted to go home, and I guess he wanted to go to apologize to his wife or something like that. But I respect the hell out of this guy, especially because, I mean, he's not winning this hand. But the turn, so that makes me feel a lot better that he doesn't have spades, because that was the main thing I was worried about. I wasn't too worried about the low jack because he only had $65 left behind. But the turn is the king of spades, so flush draw gets there, and the river is the 5 of hearts. And the low jack player actually turns over 6-5 of spades, so he takes his small amount, and so I lose the side pot, but I still scoop pretty much everything from the guy on my right, which was, I had him covered. I think it was a little more than 500 total, so bang, we're sitting with like a $1,000 stack. It was beautiful. I couldn't have been happier. Okay, cool. Session completed. It is 11:50. It's 12 It's 12 o'clock. We got here at 5, but we actually split up into 2 sessions, and I took like an hour break in between. So I played for about like 6 hours, I'd say. And the first session, I lost like 175, I think. And there was also some other stuff going on, but I was in my car and I was stressing, man. I to be honest, I was like talking to my one friend about like just the doubts that I've been having, and just like if this is what I was meant to do, or if I should keep trying this, because it does feel weird, like just posting loss after loss after loss. Especially putting it out into the open for people to watch, and you kind of feel like a jackass. But we got a little pep talk from the friend, and we went back inside, and we actually won. We had some big pots, and we won a lot. So we ended the night. I was in for roughly just under $600. and I left with like 940. So big night. I won like 375 full buy-in. So we can bump the buy-in counter to 6. I wanted to leave earlier than I did, so I'm gonna literally just start trusting. Like the second my brain is like, okay, it's time to go. Like I think I'm gonna just start leaving, because I was up like an additional like, I'd say like 150, and it kind of just bled away. There were some pots where kind of just, fact of the matter, it just didn't go my way. But then there was just one hand. I mean, I won't go over this. So I had queen 8 suited, and I got raised 20 bucks, and I was on the button, and I already had like 5 in the pot, and I called. And then as soon as I called, I was like, what am I doing? Because I only called because I was up so much, and I got like a little giddy. But I need to like reframe my mental and make every decision. I think, I don't know, maybe that's not right, but it was queen 8 suited, and that's pretty garbage. So like, I think I need to stay tight even when I'm up a lot. But very happy with tonight's session. Won some huge hands that I will be going over. Probably the biggest pot I've been a part of so far on this journey, which is lit. It was like a almost $2,000 pot, honestly. There was a side pot involved, so I mean, I'll explain it. But yeah, I'm excited to be booking a great win. Got a full double up in the bankroll. Could have been a little bit more, but it also could have been a lot worse. I could have gone home after the first session and just been down another 175. So glad I stayed. Glad I thugged it out. I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.